In this video, you're gonna see as I walk through a property that a wholesaler brought us, what it is that I look for, how I judge the repairs, things to keep in mind as you're walking through the property, where it's not always as apparent as to what the repairs are and what the hidden repairs are going to be. So pay attention, take some notes, let's get into it. All right, so obviously biggest thing, driveway. This is gonna be an issue. Chances are the house probably has foundation issues. We've done a few houses in this area and they've had foundation issues. So this is gonna be a couple $1,000s trying to level this out and fix pretty much most of the driveway, because they're gonna be coming out to about here when they break this whole thing up. You see some rebar exposed, all that. So that's gonna definitely be something that we want to take into consideration when you're looking at the property and you're looking at budgeting repairs. And I told you guys about the wide lens. I get it, I love it, it's moment. They just had a huge special that I put on my website. Also check it out for Black Friday and stuff like that. They always put big deals for it. But this wide lens for your phone, awesome, because you just capture so much more detail. And you don't have to be taking 3 or 4 pictures of the whole house. You know, just one picture is more than enough. So let's keep taking a look at things. I'm looking at fascia, seeing like up here how it's kind of rotted. So those things are, the fascia like that, the little trims, they don't pass inspection, so that you got to budget in. And it's always those little details that end up costing you a lot of money, because you're looking at it and you're like, oh, it's just trim. Yeah, but now, you know, it's the trim, you gotta paint it, you gotta fix it. If you look right above the garage, it's even worse up there. So all those things start adding up, and when you start pulling them off, sometimes you run the risk of, you know, the wood behind there is even worse condition. So it can actually add up to quite a bit of repair. Landscaping is kind of non-existent. So in this neighborhood, houses are selling in around the 200s. So for San Antonio, you know, that's a decent price point. So we're gonna have to do something with the landscaping, cut things back, cut some of these trees, the limbs, clean up some of this landscaping here. And that also adds up, you know, cutting the trees. We might be taking some of them out and moving them away from the house. Another thing, you have the house here, and I'm gonna look for the clean out of the plumbing. But when you have these massive trees in the front, a lot of times you might have plumbing issues with the clean out, because you have the roots of the trees break through the sewer. So that is, I love running a plumbing test now. It's about $300-400 depending on your plumber and if they have the equipment. But even if they have to rent the camera, it's about $300-400 around there. And they'll snake the lines to make sure that you don't have any sewer issues, because again, it's gonna cost you money. You gotta dig down, you gotta fix it, and you don't wanna sell a house with plumbing issues. So I always look for a clean out. All this has to be fixed. All these trees are hanging over the house. We're gonna be cutting them. We're gonna be taking the bars off the windows. The windows, they look like in good condition, but we gotta run the comps again and kind of see, are we gonna have to replace the windows? So that's another nice expense. All right. I mean, as you guys can see, this house needs everything. We don't have ceiling, we don't have insulation in the ceiling. You can see the ductwork is ripped in a lot of areas, so we're gonna have to redo duct. Probably trying to see if I find any plugs visible. Chances are we might have to update the electrical as well. As you can see over here on the right, there's a massive crack on the corner. You always look at the corners of the doors. That's where any angled cracks that you see, those are always foundation issues. Vertical and horizontal cracks could be settling, but angle cracks is pretty much the house. It's pretty much pulling from itself. So those are very telling. Sheetrock work, I mean, you're gonna have a ton of sheetrock, texture, paint. So Yeah, this is a full-blown rehab, which is fine. It's kind of what we do. I mean, I think there might be a kitchen on that other side, so it's gonna be interesting to try to make it over. As you're gonna see over here, even the main ductworks have broken through and everything. So like I said, all that needs to be done. Fixtures, you're gonna need all new fixtures everywhere. Fireplace, it has a nice big fireplace. We usually use it as an accent piece. The wood paneling is gonna have to go. So we're, again, more sheetrock work. I mean, we're pretty much gonna be most likely sheetrocking most of this house. All right, we have the AC in here, the interior AC unit. I mean, it looks decent condition, so we might be able to salvage this. We might have to just rework on the way it's hooked up and all the connections, but we might be able to salvage that. Look at that sheetrock over there in the corner, how it's pulled away from the wall. You see that up there? Let me take advantage of this one that's more or less exposed. So what I like to do is pull some of these plates off, well, not some, but just pull a plate off just to see if it's a 2-prong or 3-prong connection. What that means is, does the electrical have a ground or not, as far as us rewiring the whole house? Obviously, from what I've seen with the rest of the house, we most likely are gonna rewire this whole thing, but this is just in case that wasn't so apparent. You just pull one of these off and you look to see if you have the 3-cable connection. Yeah, this one seems to be 3. So the electrical seems to have the 3 cables. So maybe at some point it was updated. And we will check that out later with the box, once we look at the electrical box. Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, it smells like there's a dead animal somewhere. Yeah, look at the cracks over there and the way the ceiling pulls down. Even when you stand here, you kind of see like the fucking house has like a big ass fucking smiley face. All right, so we just finished the walkthrough. Fortunately, couldn't get through most of the house as you saw. I got to do the whole house. And I showed you some of the hitting costs, and then my videographer, Dre, he brought up a question. He says, you know, how much do you think the clean out is going to be? And that's a very good point, because the clean out is very, very expensive, and not many people budget correctly for the clean out. Because getting a group of guys in here to clean this whole thing out, empty all the garbage, not even the demo, I'm just talking about getting all the stuff out, you're probably talking about 4, maybe 5 40-yard dumpsters. Each dumpster is probably around $500. So just on dumpster fee alone, you're over $2,000 right there. Then with the labor and depending how long it takes, and it's hard sometimes to get people to clean these houses, because they look at it, they're like, no, man, I'm not going in there, because it's a bunch of crap. It's literally a bunch of crap. So you got to be careful with that. And the clean out for this house, I would budget it at no less than probably like $6,000 to just clean everything out and then begin the demo. So that's not even including the demo of the bathrooms, the kitchen, and God knows what else is in there that I didn't even get to see. So that is an excellent point. That's something a lot of people are not factoring in when they're doing this. And this is just what it is. So the wholesaler brought us a deal. The number that he already brought over is way too high for the work that needs to be done. But that doesn't mean that I will not submit an offer. I always submit an offer, because one thing I always tell with wholesalers, it's like, look, here's my offer. Here's why it's this way. If you need help, I'll help you negotiate it with the seller. Because a lot of times it's just, if you explain it to the seller, if you explain all these things to them, they're willing to compromise. And depending on the situation they're in, they might be willing to come down, and then the wholesaler can still get paid. We get the house, everybody's happy. So always submit an offer. Don't just look at a house like this and be like, oh, they're way off, screw this, I'm not doing it. No, submit an offer. Offer them some help, offer them some assistance. You just never know what's gonna work out. So just do that, keep that in mind. The landscaping, huge cost. Clean out, huge cost. Those are things that a lot of people just don't take into account, all right? Sheetrock, you look at the sheetrock overall and you're saying, hey, the sheetrock is fine, you know, in this wall, but not this one. Look, when you start getting into it, you're probably gonna have to rip out all the sheetrock because it's just gonna be faster and cheaper to just rip everything off and then redo it all at once. Instead of trying to patchwork and all that, then it doesn't look right. It doesn't, you know, blend in with the new sheetrock. So it causes more problems a lot of times when you're trying to save a few little sheets. We know this from experience. We've done it on a house where we try to save and we ended up spending a lot more money, and you saw the lines of the patches. It looked like crap. So on a house like this with this much damage, we're gonna have to do the whole sheetrock. And then the last thing you got to keep in mind is permits. House with this much problem, you're going to have to pull permits, all right? And permits can become a real issue when you're dealing with the city, depending on the neighborhood you're in. You got to make sure you're pulling permits. You got to make sure your contractors are pulling permits and they're closing the permits accordingly. So whenever there's inspection, you want to see that inspection report. Did they pass? Sometimes they get a partial pass and they write down a few things that were wrong, and then the contractors keep going. No, you want to make sure you correct the things that are wrong and then call the inspector back out if you need to. If it says that it needs to be re-inspected, because we had it on a house again where we did the electrical, they marked a few things wrong, and typically it was like 8 houses we had done up to that point. We just keep going, right? We fix those issues and keep going. This inspector came back, he's like, you closed everything up and you never called me back. Like, well, yeah, we've never called you back before. Like, what's the problem now? No, you got to call me back. So he caused problems. Luckily we were able to work it out, but you don't want to take that risk. All right, so make sure that you're pulling permits every step of the way. It's being closed out properly and they're closing out the final permits. And a strong recommendation, if you're taking this as a real business, get your GC license, pull your own permits. It's much better. You have complete control, and that way if you have to fire the contractor, they're not taking the permits with them and it doesn't become a huge issue. You understand? You could just fire them. The permits are under your name. You have the permits. You have control. So I hope this video, all in all, even though we weren't able to walk through the full house, helped you out, brought up some good thoughts and things to keep in mind. And, you know, check out this video right here where we're going to cover exactly how we made, you know, 40 grand in less than a week on different rehab a wholesaler brought us. And right over here, you just get more videos on more training that we have available. So thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.